Imagine a civilization where death was not the end but a new beginning, a place where entire cities were built for the dead, and elaborate rituals aimed to ensure safe passage to the afterlife. For ancient Egyptians, mummification was more than a tradition, it was a bridge to eternity. Join us on a journey into the mysteries of ancient burial practices, where rituals, beliefs, and a quest for eternal life come together in a spellbinding tale of faith, preparation, and preservation. To understand why the ancient Egyptians perfected the art of mummification, we first need to explore their beliefs about life after death. For Egyptians, death wasn't a final goodbye but rather a transition, a journey to a world called the Duat, or the underworld. In their view, life on earth was just the beginning. The soul would go on a perilous journey, facing trials and judgment by the gods before reaching the field of reeds, a paradise of eternal peace. This belief in the afterlife shaped every aspect of Egyptian culture, from architecture to daily rituals. Tombs were not merely graves but homes for the departed, designed to equip them with everything they would need in the next life. This is why elaborate burial practices became so vital, they were essential to ensure safe passage and eternal bliss. The art of mummification was a meticulous process, one that required skill, precision, and unwavering reverence. The first step: purification. The body was washed with palm wine and rinsed with water from the Nile, a sacred river that Egyptians believed symbolized life itself. This act symbolized a cleansing of earthly impurities, preparing the deceased for their journey to the afterlife. Next came one of the most mysterious steps, the removal of the internal organs. Ancient Egyptians believed that certain organs were vital for the afterlife journey. Using a small incision on the left side of the body, embalmers carefully removed the stomach, intestines, lungs, and liver, which were preserved in special containers known as canopic jars. Each jar was protected by a different deity, symbolizing guardianship over these organs. But what about the heart? To the Egyptians, the heart was the essence of a person, the center of emotions, memory, and intellect. Unlike other organs, the heart was carefully left inside the body, for it would later be weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice, to determine the soul's fate in the afterlife. After the organs were removed, the embalmers began the next crucial step: dehydration. The body was covered in natron, a natural salt found along the Nile River. This salt would draw out moisture, preserving the body by preventing decay. For 40 days, the body remained in this dried-out state, slowly transforming from flesh and blood into an eternal vessel for the soul. With the body purified, preserved, and dried, it was now time for the most recognizable stage of mummification, the wrapping. This wasn't just about covering the body, it was a ritual filled with symbolism, care, and precision. Embalmers used long strips of linen, layering them with amulets and charms to protect the deceased on their journey. Every wrap, every amulet, every knot held profound meaning. Priests would chant spells during the wrapping, invoking protection from harm and evil spirits. Amulets like the scarab, symbolizing rebirth, and the Eye of Horus, representing health and protection, were placed strategically between layers of linen. It was believed these objects would empower and guide the deceased through the dangerous paths of the afterlife. Once the body was prepared, it was time for its final journey to the tomb. In Egyptian culture, tombs were far more than places of burial, they were the eternal homes of the deceased, designed to provide comfort and sustenance for eternity. Wealthy individuals, particularly pharaohs, were entombed with vast treasures, food, and personal belongings to sustain them in the afterlife. Tombs were often decorated with vibrant scenes of daily life, stories of the gods, and inscriptions of sacred texts like the Book of the Dead. These writings were intended as a guidebook, full of spells and instructions to help the deceased navigate the trials of the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that these provisions and instructions would ensure a safe journey and a peaceful existence in the world beyond. With the body secured in its tomb, the soul's journey was far from over. Egyptians believed that after death, the soul embarked on a challenging passage through the underworld, where it would face numerous perils and divine judgments. Central to this journey was the weighing of the heart ceremony, a test overseen by Osiris, the god of the dead, and Ma'at, the goddess of truth. In this solemn judgment, the heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Ma'at. A heart that balanced the feather indicated a life lived in accordance with truth and justice, granting the soul entry into the field of reeds, an eternal paradise. But if the heart was heavy with wrongdoing, it was devoured by the monstrous Ammit, and the soul was condemned to oblivion. The ancient Egyptian practices of mummification and burial left a lasting legacy on the world. These intricate rituals, steeped in symbolism and faith, influenced not only the cultures of their time but continue to captivate modern minds. Archaeologists uncovering tombs today reveal stories of devotion, artistry, and an unshakable belief in the afterlife that has endured for thousands of years. From the smallest charms to towering pyramids, every aspect of ancient burial practices served a purpose. They remind us of a civilization that sought to bridge the mortal world with the eternal, leaving behind a legacy that teaches us about humanity's timeless quest for meaning, purpose, and a life beyond death. So, as we conclude our journey through the sands of ancient Egypt, we're left with a powerful reminder: the past isn't simply a collection of dates and artifacts, but a tapestry of lives, beliefs, and stories that continue to shape us. The secrets of mummification and burial may seem ancient, but at their core lies something profoundly universal: the search for immortality, a journey we all share in one form or another. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the mysteries of mummification, and may you carry a piece of this ancient wisdom with you into your own journey.